What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Sports Talk with Will. Tonight, I'm recapping day 3 of New York Jets training camp, the second practice of training camp. Um, Today, Aaron Rodgers, he was on fire. He had some pretty good passes today in practice. He connected with Garrett Wilson with a deep pass on the first play of practice. People are very excited that that connection is back up and running. And it was on play action. A play action faking the handoff to Breece Hall. Then he passed deep downfield to Garrett Wilson. Rodgers also made a pass to Allen Lazard at the end of team drills. And then when the 7-on-7 began, he made a pass over to tight end Jeremy Ruckert. So, I mean, he's really utilizing his connections. He's really utilizing his receivers a lot, and the connections are being made because, I mean, Rodgers has like the most accurate pass honestly, he is the most accurate passer I've ever seen. So it's a good thing the Jets have. This is the good thing about him being on the Jets is that he's such an accurate passer. It's a lot of his passes are with pinpoint accuracy. So that's the thing. That's the good thing with Rodgers is with his pinpoint accuracy, he's gonna make a lot of connections with multiple receivers. So again, I won't believe that it will happen until I see it happen in the regular season. If it happens. So, moving on to the offensive line. What I'm gonna bring up here, it regards the entire offense. Pre-snap penalties. The Jets are gonna hold the coaching staff on the Jets. They're holding the players accountable for pre-snap penalties. Like today, if they make a pre-snap penalty, even without these officials, if they make a pre-snap penalty, they get pulled off the field. Coaches are not going to have it. They're holding the players accountable, and this is what they should have been doing last year. So, an example of that today, Tyron Smith, our left tackle, and our left guard, John Simpson, they combined for 3 false starts. So again, like what I said about the whole thing, I won't believe that the players are being held accountable until it happens in the regular season. That's where it needs to happen. When the regular again, I'm not gonna believe all this stuff until the regular season happens. I'm just gonna keep repeating that. So hopefully the coaches do hold the players accountable for the pre-snap penalties because they got to stop. But in fairness to Tyron Smith and John Simpson, they committed these penalties when the offense was trying to figure out Aaron Rodgers' cadences. So they're working that out. They'll get it figured out throughout training camp. They'll work on it and they'll figure out this whole cadence system. Speaking of Tyron Smith, he's really showing his veteran leadership, along with Morgan Moses too. 15 minutes after practice ended, they're coaching up these young offensive linemen. They're coaching these guys. They're running drills and stuff, and they want these young offensive linemen to be the best they can be, and that's how they're going to build the depth with the offensive lines. Like obviously we don't want it just in case like any of these guys get injured, we have these other guys ready. That's what Tyron Smith and Morgan Moses are trying to do. They're trying to get these guys ready in case Smith or some of these other guys go down and you have to bring these young backup linemen in for the injured for the linemen that get injured. Hopefully I hope the offensive line can stay healthy this year, because that's going to be key to the offense being successful, and that's going to be key to Rodgers staying healthy. So if the offensive line can stay healthy, then Rodgers can stay healthy. And if Rodgers can stay healthy, then the offense can be a success. But mainly the offense can be a success if the offensive line does their job and stays healthy. So, and in terms of blocking and protecting today, Tyron Smith did a really good job. People are saying a lot of good things about him. They're saying, I'm glad we have Tyron Smith. He's working on Aaron Rodgers' blind spot, which is left tackle is the most important position on the offensive line. I mean, you could say center is, because, in order for a play to happen, the guy that's at center has to snap the ball. So I guess you could say that's the most important position. But to me, the left tackle is the most important position. But I mean, it could be that the quarterback is left-handed, so then he ends up, the blind spot is on the right side. But in this case, Aaron Rodgers, he's right-handed, so the blind spot is his left side. So that's why you got to have somebody like Tyron Smith at that position. So hopefully Tyron Smith can again, you want to translate what you're doing right now to the regular season games, Tyron. That's what you want to do. You want to translate this excellent protection, this good protection of Rodgers and the other quarterbacks to the actual game. To the regular season games. That's what you got to bring that to. You got to show it in regular season games. Stop talking about, the offensive line is protecting Aaron Rodgers. Stop talking about it. I want proving. I don't want talking. I want proving. This is what I want this season. I want it to be proven. I want a lot of things to be proven. Things that are being talked about right now. Improved offensive line. I know thing I know is that the defense is great. That's what I know. You want to prove. You do want to prove that as well. But I'm very optimistic about the defense. But the offensive line has to be proven that they are better. Prove it. Stop talking about it. Prove it. Prove it that we have a lot of good receivers. Prove it. Prove it that it's not only Garrett Wilson. Prove that we have other guys we can work with. Prove it. Stop talking about it. Prove it. Just prove it. This is a season where things have got to be proved. You got to prove a lot of things this season. That's what the Jets have to do. All the things they talk about. Got to prove it. So and then going to the quarterback position. Yesterday the Jets placed Jordan Travis on the non-football injury list, which is weird that it's called the non-football injury list, because the injury he sustained and is currently recovering from was in a football game last year, when he was at Florida State. That injury occurred back in November. It's weird, but apparently injuries that occurred in college when you were playing, when that player was playing in college, that fits the criteria of the non-football injury list. It just seems weird. But so what they did in response to that, so after doing that, they signed quarterback Ben Bryant. So it'll be a battle between him and Andrew Peasley for the third string spot. I'm not sure how they're doing, but it's like we know who the starter is and we know who the backup's going to be. We know Aaron Rodgers is going to be the starter. We know Tyrod Taylor is going to be the backup, but we don't know who the third string is. So that'll be figured out. On defense, DJ Reed, he got in the way of a very nice pass from Rodgers that was intended for Garrett Wilson. And Sauce Gardner, he did pretty much the same thing. And then on the defensive line, the defensive tackles, Leki Fotu and Solomon Thomas, they both recorded stops in the backfield on rookie running back Isaiah Davis. So the defensive line is still going to be very dominant this year. I mean, you know what you've got with Quinnen Williams, Michael Clemens, and all those guys on there. And we just have we know the Jets have a top 5 defense. We know the Jets have a top 5 defense. But let's continue to show it this year. Let's not, again, I know that the Jets defense is great, but let's continue to show it. They've proven it to me, but let's continue to show it. Now for the defense, instead of proving it, you've already proved that you're great, continue to show it. But prove that there's a lot of, but thing is, there is a lot of depth on the defense. The depth on the defense showed in like the win against the Eagles last year when we had a bunch of guys in the secondary that were out with injury, and the secondary did well. Apart from, AJ Brown had a great game, and but when it mattered, they showed. But when it mattered most, they showed up. So it's proven the Jets do have a lot of depth on defense. So this is just this season. They just gotta continue to show it. Continue showing that. And then let's go to the injury report. So like I said, Jordan Travis was placed on the non-football injury list. He's still recovering from his leg injury last November when he was at Florida State. And offensive lineman Elijah Vera Tucker, who suffered an Achilles injury last year against the Broncos, and Morgan Moses, who currently has a pec injury. Robert Saleh said that they are, quote, close to a return, end quote. And then after practice, second-year wide receiver Xavier Gibson, who is really big, plays a big role in special teams as he's been returning kickoffs and punts. So it looks like, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be doing that again this year. So he limped off the field. He kind of walked very gingerly off the field after practice. So, but there was no report on him from Robert Saleh. We'll probably get an update at the next practice. Or we'll get an update in Robert Saleh's press conference tomorrow. We'll see about it. But again, just like yesterday, the Jets offense had a great practice, and that's good. I want to see. Look, my favorite player on the Jets is on defense. That's Sauce Gardner. But in this case, I want the defense to do well. But I want the offense to win a lot of I want the offense to dominate practice. I don't want it to be the offense dominating the majority of practices, because then it's going to concern me that the defense is kind of doing bad. I want it to be 50-50. I want to see the offense do well, and I want to see the defense do well. If we can see that, then it's like, okay, good. Then we have good. But then again, then it'll be like, okay, the Jets are good on both sides of the football. But again, that's talking, not proving it. Then you got to do that. You got to do well in the real games. You got to prove that the Jets are good on both sides of the football in the real games. Again, I will not believe that we are good and on offense until the regular season starts. I won't. Just say I'll continue to say. But yeah, that's going to do it for the recap of day 3 of New York Jets training camp. Um, I will recap. I will do a recap after the next Jets practice. I will see you guys later, and go Jets.